This is Senate Joint Resolution NOV.358 by Senator Lou Patton and Representative Steve Bivens. This resolution was adopted at the state level on May 24th of 1989, naming Tall Betsy as the official Halloween goblin of Bradley County. Whereas Halloween night is recognized as a festive occasion all over the world, whereas small children go out dressed as spooks and goblins to trick or treat, and whereas Centenary Avenue in Cleveland, Tennessee is where the most recognized goblin in Bradley County comes out, and whereas all residents along Centenary Avenue promote a fun and safe Halloween for all little girls and boys by giving out treats and opening their homes as spook houses, and whereas Tall Betsy is the main attraction and spookiest spook on Halloween, and whereas she comes out only on Halloween on Centenary Avenue, she can be seen. Tall Betsy is the lady in black. For scaring night owls, she has a knack. Now if you're good and go home early, you won't get got by this gruesome girly. But if you linger till after 10, we want you to know you're a has-been. 'Cause Betsy will tuck you under her arm, and you can bet that's cause for alarm. To Fort Hill Cemetery she will go, to her mausoleum with you in tow. If you don't escape before the sunrise, I warn you now, you'll be her prize. She will have you for breakfast, and I do not jest, you'll be on the menu, but not as her guest. Your bones will be dumped in the old well at Arnold School, and no one will tell your parents. They'll worry and fret. They'll search all over for you, I'll bet. So go home early on Halloween night, and November 1st you'll be alright. Trick-or-treating is so much fun, but if you see Tall Betsy, you had better run. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 96th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee and the House of Representatives concurring. So, in other words, the House approved this same resolution. This is, to me, alarming. And as I said before, you can go into the you'll watch the presentation before the county commission, wanting some answers about why this would have been done secretly. Why would there be any opposition to this in the current environment that we live in? All of this should be appalling to anyone, especially if you're a Christian. This should be extremely appalling to you. And the fact that this official goblin and these facts here, which we're talking about cannibalism, kidnapping, child sex trafficking. And then another alarming aspect of this is, although this is called Tall Betsy, all the portraits that I have seen that deal with Tall Betsy, and some of them even including that were commissioned locally, all of those portraits and painted portraits, they are clearly of a man. And so maybe this is misappropriately named. This should probably be Tall Bill if that's the case. Unless we're trying to transition in this, and make acceptable, the gender dysphoric mental illness lifestyle. So anyway, watch the video and leave your comments and stuff in the section below. And thanks.
How y'all doing? I've got a kind of a question and addressing an issue. I know it's like a normal protocol in Tennessee how things work. If the state wants to acknowledge someone in a community or name something or an event or something like that, the normal protocol is that the community, that would be something that the community would request. So in that request, then generally that request would go to the commission or the constitutional body, and that body would vote on that resolution. And if the resolution passed, then that would be forwarded to the state legislature, maybe through the representatives or whatever that mechanism is. And so if this event doesn't happen in that manner, in other words, this is taken up by the state and voted as naming an event or naming anything, and that portion of it that's in the local community that's involved is never, there's no vote, there's no public notice, there's no anything, but this is just bypasses the local people, which I believe is a constitutional violation because it does impinge your right to redress of grievances. So, you know, I find it interesting. Why would that be circumvented? Why would the local community be circumvented in this situation? And what I'm talking about here, and I've got copies of this state resolution, and I was made aware of this here just recently. And the problem with this is that the protocol wasn't followed. And when you read this, I would read it twice, you know, because it is, to me, is alarming when you read what is on here, and then it ties the citizens of Bradley County. And I know there was no resolution passed because I did an open records request searching for that resolution that would have been voted on. So there's no request for a resolution. And so what we've done here is we've eliminated any public notice for this action. And also, I think you've limited the local people's redress of grievances, because the only way to have known that this was going to happen was that you would have had to been in Nashville, because that's where the notice would have been given. There was no notice here because there was no vote here. I think in the current climate that we live in, that when you read this and understand that this is, to me, is alarming. I mean, and you take it in the context that it's written, you know, it starts out kind of silly, but it gets actually much darker as you go. And, you know, when you're advocating that for what is on this, and that you're giving, instead of impugning this, you're actually giving it notoriety. I think that's, you know, to me, that's alarming. You know, do we not have enough child sex trafficking? Do we not have enough of these sort of situations, kidnapping, all the things that are in that resolution right there? Maybe that's why it was maybe that's why the community was bypassed in this. You know, so I mean, I just found that alarming. Maybe you don't find it alarming, but I found it alarming, and everybody that I've showed that resolution to has also found that alarming. You know, that it appears that we're advocating for this in some manner, and I don't advocate for that at all. There's nothing on there that to me that should be advocated for. You know, and so anyway, that I'm just bringing public notice to that, and I think the correct action here that the county commission should, you know, vote on, have a resolution presented that would rescind that. I mean, because that's alarming to me, and like I said, a lot of other people. I mean, when we're in the current climate we're in, that should alarm you right there. Very much. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Was this
Commissioner
wasn't this
Slater.
year, was it?
Oh no.
It's 25 years. It's 25 years ago.
Yes, it's 25 years ago.
1989.
But it's still on the public record.
So it was done at the state and not on the local level.
Yeah, but the local level, the local community was circumvented and even having knowledge that this was done and naming the local community as being what would appear to be for that. Okay, so I mean, if there had have been a resolution drawn up in Bradley County, voted on in Bradley County, and passed in Bradley County, okay. Now we're good. But we don't do that. We take something and we go to state level. We get 2 legislators to implement that and put it in at the state level, circumventing everyone locally. No one has the opportunity to say, we don't like that. We're against that. There's no opportunity for any church, anyone like that to come in and say, this is not good. This is not good. And it's becoming even less and less so as we go forward in time.
Correct. Okay.
And so my biggest objection is that you circumvented the public. You circumvented the community. So if this was to be rescinded and then you want to start over, and then, well, first thing is, who wasted all the money on that? How is that fiduciarily responsible to vote on that? That's stupid. And what did these state representatives, Lou Patton and Steve Bivens, what did they get to do that? And who promoted that? And who had the influence to push that through, circumventing the county commission and everyone in the county? That's the question that should be asked. You know, and yeah, it is. It's 25 years ago. Amen. I'll give you that. Doesn't make it any more right or less right, right?
35. 30. It was 1989.
Yeah, I was just going. I was just going with
I was
her.
born in 91, so it was
But you would know.
This was done before I was even on this earth. So,
Commissioner Thompson, please.
Was this a city deal?
Well, I will tell you this, that I did actually do some research into the city, and there was no resolution passed in the city too. So I don't really know. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, I've researched it a fair amount, and just found what I found. But I mean, like I said, I just don't think that the people in the community should be circumvented. I don't care if it was 100 years ago. It doesn't matter, because it's still in place. That is still in place. So.
Have you been to the city council with this?
No, because in the document you read, it says Bradley County. It doesn't say anything about Cleveland. So in the resolution, it says Bradley County. I mean, so the city really doesn't have, what's their, what would be their tie?
They got a council down there, take it before them.
But it doesn't say Cleveland. It says Bradley County.
I'd still take it before the council.
Anyone else? Thank you very much.
Thank
Dan.
you.
Appreciate it. Is there anyone else that would like to communicate from the audience? Yes.
Deborah Gleason, District 4. I hope that you take this very seriously. I mean, I do. As Dan has stated, in view of what we are experiencing now in our community, we should not let something like this stand. It's official. It needs to be rescinded and taken off of the books. And that's just how serious I think it is. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Addressing this resolution, we are fairly new to Tennessee, and when I came across someone mentioning that this is the Spirit County, I thought, wow, that is so terrific. Of course, I thought it was the Holy Spirit. It never occurred to me that it was a ghost, a spirit of Tall Betsy. And I had that same concern that fentanyl amongst Tennessee, I did write down a few things. Fentanyl deaths between 2015 and 21 in Tennessee increased by 1,578%. The total number of fatalities in 2023 was 714. Tennessee is ranked third in the county for prescription drug abuse. I'm just addressing the darkness, the negativeness of what we are living in now, the deaths from hurricane and tornadoes and stuff. So I read about this Tall Betsy and, quote, if you're out at 10, she'll tuck you under her arm, eat you for breakfast, and dump your bones in the old well. And so ha ha Halloween and so on and so forth. But I just don't find that uplifting, encouraging. I just think I live in Bradley County, and I really don't like that name attached to Bradley County, the county that I live in now. Thank you.
Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dan, since this was voted on at the state level, have you reached out to Senator Lowe or Representative Howe or Raper? Yeah, come to the microphone for the millions of people that are watching. We haven't heard from you in a long time. We've wondered where you've been. They don't want to miss what you have to say.
When I look at it, you know, the normal in my thought process is normally how we do a resolution is, or something that we want them to address is that we do the resolution, and if the resolution passes, then the resolution is presented to them to present at the state level. Of course, we have no input about what happens once it leaves here, but you know they are obligated to, if the resolution is passed and it's given to them, they're obligated then to do what they do at the state legislative level. I just thought that a resolution at the community level, because once again we're including the community, and have to hear what people say and what they understand. And just like this lady said, they've never been given that opportunity. That was circumvented. Was that on purpose? I don't know. But it sure seems interesting that I've really never heard of this happening before here. I mean, I may have. I mean, Mayor Davis may know, but I've never actually seen where, there was a resolution passed decreeing something in a community, and the community never had any input on it. Never, as far as we know, as never had the opportunity to even look at it. But it just was, was hung on your head.
I just wondered if you had any communication.
No, I
Okay.
hadn't, because I thought, one thing at a time.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Anyone else? Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to communicate from the audience, please? Thank you. We'll now move to the announcements. Next meeting voting.